Yeah,
You know, that's really sad.
We've wiped out about 17 million species in the last couple of years, and which took millions,
humans, not
took
nature.
Millions and billions of years to evolve, and
and without them, you know,
we're getting rid of them. You know,
that's sad.
Yeah, it is.
It's their home too.
When I was a kid, you know, last year, we had fish in the ocean, and we had all sorts of. We had corn that you could eat. You know, we had all. You know, you didn't worry about anything because it was.
Now we've got all the genetically modified corn. You know, I
GMOs.
think that corn is poison because, or the devil, I call it. You know, because it's not.
It is poison.
It's not. Yeah, because they have a pesticide infused into the corn that kills the bugs that eat the corn. So you're eating pesticide inherent to the corn. It's just.
Put an herbicide in there called Roundup.
Yeah.
They fed it. It's called starling corn. In 1996, they fed it to rats in England.
And they did not do well.
Killed the rats in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we're eating that daily.
All the time.
Watch out for corn, people.
Well, watch out for corn syrup, high fructose syrup.
Corn's in everything.
Yeah.
Read the labels.
Read everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is interesting because people are reading their labels. I go into Wild by Nature or, you know.
If you can't pronounce the ingredient, it's probably best not to purchase it.
Wise idea.
Yeah. Talking about corn and seeds, you've got a new program happening with heirloom seeds.
Well, we are advising people to save organic heirloom seeds and grow food. You know, make victory gardens. We know that food is the most important thing on the planet. We know that it's all been adulterated. We know that the food production has dried up dramatically all over the world. We're going to be going into difficulties that people have no idea about. And, you know, we only have 3 meals in any stores, say on Long Island. There's only 3 meals there. So if something happened, if something happened, if there was a difficulty where they couldn't transport food onto Long Island, there's only enough to feed 3 times in the stores. There's not a lot of food.
Oh, meaning what we have today? Like if that food had to be consumed,
you get 3 meals out of that.
Each person on Long Island?
Maybe.
Okay.
Some people go without.
So if we have our gardens and...
then you got a constant source of food coming in. You can learn how to preserve it. You can can it. You can do lacto fermentation.
Sure, you could dry things.
And we teach these in our graduate class, but we attempt to in the Green Guerrilla classes to basically break their old paradigms. That's why it takes 2 days. The first day, you know, they're set and they're looking at you and they're going, you know, well, maybe this is going to work for me and maybe not. But after the second day, they go, yeah, this is what I want to do. I don't want to do that.
You know, it's going back to basics pretty much.
Oh, yeah, we're going back to the way we did things 100 years ago.
Without all the poisons and chemicals and all that. Yeah.
We tried it. You know, we're not against poisons at the Nature Lyceum. You know, I mean, we are against poison, but we're not against chemicals. We just think there are better alternatives.
Sure.
You know, they asked Mother Teresa during the Vietnam War in 1967 if she would march against against the war. And she said, no, I'm not going to march against the war, but if you have a march for peace, I'll be there.
Wow.
So it's an alternative.
Yeah.
It's a way of looking at things, just like when we go to colleges and I talk to high schools, and we attempt to get them to stop using the chemicals on the playing fields.
Yes.
When you call it an athletic field, everybody goes, oh, we got to do it chemically. You know, that's the way we learned how to do it. And then you look at them and you go, yeah, but the kids play on it. It's really a playing field. And when you suggest that, they go, yeah, why are we putting chemicals on a playing field?
There's new legislation proposed in New York to ban the use of all kinds of poisons on playing fields. So that's happening today, which is a wonderful thing. Yeah,
it is. It's definitely, you know, it's where we have to go too. Because the kids are, I'm an advisor to the Breast Cancer Coalitions of Long Island. It was my suggestion to them to use the statement, prevention is the cure. They were talking about sustainability. I said, no, prevention is the cure. Yeah. And they jumped on that. And I'm also an advisor to the Kesnick Family ALS clinic down in Miami. And I was talking to Gina Gonzalez a couple of years ago, who runs the clinic, and I said, you know, we know that non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and breast cancer and all sorts of different Parkinson's disease are all environmentally driven. What have you found out about ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease? And she said, well, we looked at it genetically because that's where we get our funding from. And all of a sudden, there were all these kids coming in who are the kids of pro athletes.
I think you mentioned that, or I heard that before. I don't know if I was speaking with you.
Yeah, it's probably from me, because there's not too many people that know that.
Okay.
And they said that she's told me that there's all these kids coming in. Kids never got Lou Gehrig's disease. You know.
So it's in the DNA of the parents and passing it on to the kids.
Yeah, it's passing on. It's in their blood.
Terrible.
So what happened? They're getting it, but there are no kids from athletes that play indoors. In other words, golfers' kids are getting it, and soccer players, lacrosse players, all these different people that play on turf. But the kids of basketball players, hockey players, wrestlers,
That kind of makes
nothing.
sense. Then they should see that correlation.
Well, the correlations are hidden. You know, you got to really dig down to find it.
Plus, nobody wants to have a definite answer of what the answer is, because then there's blame to be cast, and nobody wants to be, you know,
Well,
their chemical company doesn't want to be the one that caused all this harm.
yeah, they do.
Oh, they do want to be it?
Oh, yeah. They do it.
I know they do it, but they don't want to. They don't want to be the ones.
They
don't want to take the
anybody
blame.
realizing it.
Yeah, they don't want to admit.
Yeah, they don't want to be sued, but
Yeah.
they don't care.
Right.
You know, they know what they're doing. In 2005, there was an article in the New York Times about the national soccer team of Italy that 11 players came down with ALS.
Wow.
Now, the odds against that happening are astronomical. Can't happen.
Yeah.
11 players. You know, and it's from, and in the article it said, well, it could be from ball trauma on the head, it could be this, it could be this. And finally, the last thing was, but it also could be, but we don't think so, toxic chemicals used on the playing field, you know, used on the athletic field. You know, the last one is the most important. Of course it is. And the athlete takes it home. Like, I used to advise Yankee Stadium, and I was standing at first base once with Danny Cunningham, the superintendent. I said, Danny, this is where a disease started. I mean, this is right here, first base. If you could point to anywhere in the world, Lou Gehrig's disease started right here, from the chemicals that were sprayed in front of him. He says, yeah, but we don't use them as much as we did. And I said, yeah, but you got a guy on third base that you're paying $180 million to, and Rodriguez is, you know, he doesn't know you're spraying a fungicide the day of the game.
Wow.
And the ball goes through it. He picks it up, throws it over to first base, puts his hand like this, does this, puts it in his clothes. He's shortening his life by a lot. And his thing is to stay alive as long as possible to make that money. You know, what does he know? You know, if he knew what you were doing, he wouldn't play here.
Well, now maybe they'll watch this show and think about it.
There's always hope.
Yeah,
There's always hope.
absolutely.
So what we're doing now is we're trying to work with, we're attempting to work with children, kids in high school. We give free scholarships to kids in high school.
And seniors, I read.
And seniors who can't pay anything, you know, because we only ask for a donation anyways.
Limited space, though, for the free.
We only have 20 seats, so if we get 10 people coming, I can give out a couple of seats, you know.
So you try to run it once a month, or?
Well, we've tried to, but because of the economy, you know, no one's doing well right now. Even the school, we canceled 5 classes last year, which I've never done in 18 years.
Just limited enrollment?
Yeah, no one's calling. I'm like the Maytag man, you know. Hey, you know, but what we do is we try and create teachers in 2 days, so that they go out and they teach, because we know everybody can't come to the school. They don't have the resources. And we're also trying to do a DVD of the school and get online, and we've been doing YouTubes. So we're attempting to reach out through the medium that the kids know. And that's who we want. That's the target, the kids, because
they're the future.
Right, you know, they're the indigo
They're the ones
children.
to make the change.
Yeah, they got, you know, they got 12 strands of DNA, and I only have 2, so they're way past me, you know. And that's who you want to get to. It's quite amazing, and these kids are smart.
Yeah,
because I teach kindergarten through high school at Southampton. I'm a substitute teacher over there. And the kindergarten kids, when I was in kindergarten, you know, I played with a fire truck and, you know, blocks, and I was the triangle guy in the band. And these kids...
They're programming computers, these kids.
Yeah. Well, I take them to computer class, I take them to science class, I take them to language class, I take them to, you know, art class. And when I'm in the computer class, and they come up and go, Mr. Frank, and they're like pulling on my legs, like, yeah, what? Says, can you help me with my computer? No, I can't even
Ask
turn
your
it on.
buddy. But it's good to get them when they